From the darkest corners of Tumblr comes a podcast where we take two of your favorite fictional characters, get them together, and ask, do we ship it? Hey guys, welcome back to Ships in the Night. I'm Zach Wilson, that's Greg Goodness.
And I am fully rendered as a roaring lion. That's right, after the success of The Lion King, we got Disney on our side and no expense was spared. I'm sure that you guys are taking in the full majesty of my mane and the wetness of my nose. Oh gosh, I look so good, guys, and it was totally worth it. I think this is going to be a really good thing for the podcast.
This is an audio.
Oh no! Oh no, Zach! Zach, we've made a terrible mistake!
You've made a terrible mistake. Anyway, enough shenanigans. I want to welcome our fantastic guest back to the podcast, returning for, I think, the fourth time that we've technically had an episode with Yael at this point. It's Yael Tygiel.
Hello.
Wonderful host, wonderful friend, wonderful nerd.
Champion.
Also cat lover and loving this mane.
Thank you. At least someone can appreciate the $4.5 billion we spent to do this.
I mean, I love kitties, so I'm in.
So let's dive into our first couple. And this one, we're trying something new on the show this week because we knew we wanted to ship Blade, the Daywalker vampire hunter, with someone because he's got a new movie coming out with Marvel starring Mahershala Ali. Everyone's excited. Everyone's talking about Blade right now.
But who we gonna fuck?
Yeah. We had to find out. So we put up a poll on Twitter to find out from a short list who you guys thought we should pair up with Blade. We offered up Buffy Summers, Angel from Buffy, Edward Cullen, and from Sesame Street, Count Von Count. Because how can you do a vampire poll without the Count?
That's fair. It's a fair question.
We were not sure who was going to wind up the winner of this poll, and it was pretty close. It was all within a 4% margin towards the end, except for Angel. Nobody really wanted Angel in there. But Count had 26%, Edward Cullen had 29%, but with 31% of the vote, we're shipping Blade and Buffy Summers today on the podcast. So I think we just got to dive right in. What do you guys think about the audience's choice?
I think alliteration is very important. Blade and Buffy. I think it makes sense. I think also from her track record, it's completely reasonable. And
that you would wind up with, I guess, because he's sort of like this perfect marriage of her interests. He's a vampire, but he's a vampire hunter.
Right. I think that they are a really solid match, and I'm shocked that there isn't already this crossover content in the real world.
Well, we're contributing to Rule 34. Like, we have to make it happen.
Yeah.
There's some DeviantArt out there, I'm sure.
Let's get into the story here, because that's the important part. It's enough to know that these two would be good together, but I want to know how they do it and where and why. So we got to start with the meet cute between Buffy and Blade. Greg, I can already see on your face that you have an idea.
A little bit of an inkling. So I think that Blade, being the relentless vampire hunter that he is, he would go to the far ends of the earth if he had to track a vampire down. I think that he is traveling and stalking his way all the way to Buffy's town, and he's like, oh gosh, I gotta find this vampire. How am I gonna do it? Blade has to go undercover as a high school student and transfer into Buffy's high school so that he can track down the vampire.
It's the 21 Jump Street. It's 21 Blade Street.
Oh, I love it.
It's perfect. And I think this is like early Buffy. So is he hunting the Master?
Ooh, that's good. I like that.
Our season 1 villain.
Right. He definitely is going to show up at school. He's going to be in the library researching. We're going to have a meeting with Giles. He's going to be like, what are you doing with these books? These are not for you. These are special books. And Blade's going to be like, I know. It's going to be great.
Now, here's a question that just for my own headcanon at this point. is this the Wesley Snipes Blade, or is this comics Blade who is British?
It definitely has to be fucking Wesley Snipes. Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
Of course it's Wesley Snipes in high school. Can you imagine him like, we have a new transfer student today, everybody. Please welcome, was it Brad? It's Blade. That's right, me, Blade, typical high school student.
To be fair,
I love French fries, decapitating vampires, I mean, studying?
I'm here for football tryouts.
Yeah.
to be fair, I don't think anybody in the 90s would bat an eye at a character in high school named Blade.
Oh, for sure. It's like, gosh, he's so cyberpunk. I bet he has all of his files saved on floppy disks.
Oh, also that, I don't know if you remember, but black trench coats were really in at some point.
Oh, yeah. Oh, here's the problem. Like, but Buffy and Blade, maybe that's even how they get started, is they're just complimenting each other's leather jackets.
I definitely imagine that she's out on a stakeout and notices him also on a stakeout.
Stakeout.
She's...
in.
Jesus, Zach, really?
We're not even there yet. They're still meeting.
Like they're gonna kill things with stakes.
Sure.
Yeah, sweet Christ, Zach.
This is pure joy.
I definitely think that Buffy is the only one in this high school who's like, he's a vampire hunter. Like, there's something wrong. This is not a normal high school student.
Does she recognize him as a vampire first? I mean, he's not a full vampire. He's out in the daylight. Right. And that would, I think, throw her off. She would be very confused by that. But he does have the teeth, unless he hides them or whittles them down or something for this undercover mission. But he presents as a vampire a lot of the time.
I definitely think she sees it. I think she sees it and is turned on, as she usually is, by sexy vampires. I mean, no, she beats them up.
Well, that can be the thing, right? Is she's like, oh, God, I have this feeling. And it's like, is it a love feeling? No, it's I have to beat him up. And
this is her to Angel.
Yeah, exactly. Angel's
super jealous because they're like the Scooby Gang plus Angel. They're all like trying to figure out what Blade is doing there, and Blade's just like, nah, man, I'm just here as a student with these really cool shades. Don't look at me.
I actually like that as their first like genuine interaction. Is Buffy and Blade have kind of like traded words in the hallway, like nice jacket. But then Angel is in Buffy's room at night, like, this guy is dangerous. I don't know. Perhaps you should keep. And Blade just sails through the window like, ah, with a giant fucking katana, ready to decapitate Angel. And Buffy has to be like, no. He's a good one.
It starts out with a fight where Buffy goes to defend Blade, and he's confused because he's already figured out that she's the Slayer.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, why are you protecting this very mopey vampire?
Oh, it definitely becomes a love triangle, which, you know, somebody's going to suggest that they have a threesome. Somebody's gotta. And I think that Buffy would be down. I think Blade would be down. I think Angel would wuss out.
No, yes, I agree. No way Angel is getting involved in a threesome. Does not have the... He's way too jealous.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the emotional fortitude for it. Yep. He's too needy, like, but what about my needs? Pay attention to me. Sorry, I kind of don't like Angel a whole lot, as I'm sure some of you guessed.
That's totally fair. No, but that I think is a good point. This is fan fiction, guys. This is slash fiction we're writing here. It's got to turn into a threesome at first, but that's when Angel just leaves. And Buffy and Blade.
Oh, what if Blade kills Angel but doesn't tell Buffy? Oh. Right? Like, that's so... Buffy. That's so that show. Like, that he's dead, Blade did it, and Buffy doesn't know. She continues to see Blade wondering why Angel ghosted her, or whatever we used to call it.
Yeah.
So Blade is like, we just gotta keep searching for the master vampire. I bet... oh man, I bet the master vampire finally got Angel. Oh no.
I mean, that could easily be it. I mean, Blade is mostly about the job and hunting down vampires, getting his revenge, and taking out who he can with some snappy one-liners while he does it. Buffy is more about her relationships and between her friends and her lovers, both of them, all of them. But it's gonna be really hard. That's gonna be the biggest problem. Is Blade is too focused on work, right?
That's an interesting point. Buffy is the one who's like, gosh, Blade, we really have a lot in common, and like, he's super sexy, don't get me wrong. Wesley Snipes in that movie can fucking get it.
And again, the 90s, so much leather.
Yeah, exactly. So she's gonna be super into it, but then he rebukes you. He's like, no, I can't. I'm part vampire. You wouldn't understand.
Well, I think it might be that after they kill the Master, because with Blade's help, I think it'll be pretty easy to take him down.
Right.
This is a 3-episode arc. We've condensed the entire, and Blade's just like, let's fucking do it. Let's get it done.
Like, Buffy's great, and but with another person of equal skill level backing her up, they're good.
I would say equal skill level, but better tools.
Blade having better
Yeah.
tools. Yeah, Buffy's main tool is an actual stake. He has
Weapons.
silver bullets.
Actual weapons.
Like garlic-laced swords.
Right.
They take down the Master, but I think it's at that point, that's where they run into trouble, because Blade's going to want to move on. He's going to want to look for the next hive, the next, big target, but wants to go to high school.
How dare she? How dare she want an
Yeah.
education?
But that's the thing. She wants to live her life. That was her big arc in that show, was always, how do you balance having the responsibilities of the Slayer with what her normal person human desires are.
Blade's like, I don't understand. Why wouldn't you want to travel the world, never knowing where you're going to be sleeping, camping out in sewers, and waiting to die? What's not appealing about that, Buffy? She's like, Blade, I think you have some serious emotional issues. She's like, I watched my mom die.
Oh, she asked him to go to prom. He's like, what's that? No.
Are there going to be vampires at prom? No, there are not going to be vampires at... Well, there might be a few
It's
vampires
dancing.
at prom.
We're going dancing. No, thanks.
Are there going to be vampires at this club? Probably, but we can just leave them alone and have a good time.
Man, that is going to be a tough row to hoe. I have to think that Buffy is, gosh, he's so impossibly hot and so good at his fucking job. Buffy, I think, would be willing to go along with this for a little bit.
You think she goes on a summer trip with Blade?
That's what I was going to say, yeah.
Oh shit, spring break with Blade. Hell yeah. Other kids are going to Key West, Florida, and she's going to fucking catacombs of ancient Rome. Oh shit, that's good.
It's like it's like a Spider-Man Far From Home, where they go to Paris to go we're going on a school trip to Paris, and they go into those underground tunnels filled with skulls where all the vampires in Paris are hiding.
But Buffy is still treating this like a vacation, so she's doing fucking selfies, and the music and playing in the background is like, look around you, what pretty baby, is it everything?
That is your go-to song so often on this podcast,
it's
Greg.
Just the perfect feel-good song.
It was great. I could see it.
And fucking Blade in every one of these pictures is just scowling. Buffy is doing duck lips and silly faces and posing, holding up the Leaning Tower of Pisa.
Oh, man.
And Blade just dead-eyed, leather sunglasses full the entire time. So I would think that maybe that's finally the straw that breaks the camel's back for Buffy. It's Jesus, Blade, I know we have a serious job and everything, but have a little bit of fun.
She's like, what's the point of having a day walker if you're not going to enjoy the daytime? We're outside, we're traveling, and you're miserable.
Jesus Christ, Blade, have a bite of gelato, for once.
It's Yeah, this is a fun ship. We have to ask, do they make it?
Oh no.
Blade is just so self-serious and so self-involved. I don't think that Buffy is ever going to be able to change that.
I think also he kills a lot of people she loves. Because, right? Because they turn out to be vampires or werewolves or witches. I think he's just going to be like, yeah, they're bad, and just kill them. That was my best friend.
He might be a little bit more willing to kill these people, where Buffy is more trying to rehabilitate them.
Right.
I mean, we see that once eventually she even like tries to get with Spike.
I was definitely Team Spike.
Oh.
Yeah. Angel can be beheaded for all I care.
And he was violently by Blade.
And that's the thing, especially once he eventually comes clean about that, which I think does happen in Paris.
Right.
It's very hot. It is the most like 90s, just leather fueled sex romp of a vampire slaying show you've ever thought of, but it doesn't have the staying power.
After that break, they both return to their respective towns, and Buffy's like, summer lovin' happens so fast. And it cuts to Blade, and he's just silent while the music is playing in the background, refuses to sing. Buffy is the only one doing this Summer Nights duet. It's like, I don't sing, it's not cool.
We killed vamps under the dock.
I didn't realize your podcast became a musical podcast, guys.
It's always been a musical podcast.
They only came out after 10 o'clock.
But she definitely steals a bunch of his equipment before he leaves.
Oh, it makes her way more efficient in
Right.
the later seasons.
She was like, guns? I need a gun.
She goes to Giles. Giles, I need a gun with silver bullets. She's like, what? Oh my word.
How uncouth.
But it once she points out, this is the modern era, Giles. We need to catch up, and this will be way more efficient. We might have to switch networks.
This is the 21st century. We have multicultural vampire hunters, and we have guns. Get used to it.
Maybe if Netflix will pick us up, we can get a little more violent, Giles. All right, I think that's gonna close the big old like worn book that is
leather-bound
Buffy,
tome. Yeah,
that is Buffy and Blade. Thank you, audience, for helping us pick them. We're gonna do more of those in the future. So follow us on Twitter @ShippingPod to make sure that you get to get in once we're posting for ships that way, or just send them to us when you have ideas. We're gonna take a quick break and then come back with another fun ship. And we're back, and we've got another very intense, very special ship that we need to investigate. This one also not necessarily picked in the traditional way, but we had to investigate it. This one was tweeted out by @Alex Chung on Twitter after reading in a recent issue of Bendis's Batman stories, where Alfred is telling Bruce that he has to get back to Wayne Manor. Alfred is telling Bruce that he has to get back to Wayne Manor, and he says there is one lovely woman here named Lorelai who is both age and intellectually appropriate for you. Bendis retweeted this saying Lorelai Gilmore and Bruce Wayne forever. So we got to talk about Lorelai Gilmore hooking up with Bruce Wayne now, because as soon as I heard it, I went, oh, I need to have it. Luckily, I have a podcast where we talk about these things.
So, Zach, you can probably, because you're a huge Gilmore Girls fan.
I do love me some Gilmore Girls.
Can you explain to me the connective tissue between these characters?
So, and Yael, you can back me up on this.
I very much can.
Lorelai and Bruce both come from very wealthy families. Mm-hmm. They live in these big manors growing up that they don't feel really at home in. They both want to get outside of this aristocracy life. And now, yes, they went in very different directions from that, but they both wanted something different. Bruce wanted to put on some leotards and go fight criminals at night. Lorelai wanted to go open an inn. But I think that what it comes down to is that these are just two people from similar backgrounds who have the sort of personalities that would click together. At least I think so. Yeah, what do you think?
I definitely agree. I think their upbringing really does give them that familiarity. But I could see Lorelai being hesitant every time she's been with someone who has a similar background. She's very hesitant because she has thrown it away. And Bruce, eventually embraced having the money, embraced being able to buy whatever he wants.
He uses that as a cover. He doesn't even like it. He just accepts that it is a good way for him to protect his Batman identity.
Sure, but for all she knows, he has embraced this lifestyle.
Yes, exactly. So we have to start with the meet cute, and I think we can base it on this panel, sort of bend into a what if territory, is I think that Emily got invited to Wayne Manor and demanded that Lorelai go with her.
Oh, absolutely.
So that she could meet Bruce Wayne.
Yeah, she definitely was like, I have a daughter, she's single, let me bring her to what I would believe as Emily is a perfect match. They're both, he's from a good family. I knew his parents. Let us make this happen, as she's known to do.
Yes, but in this what if, there was no Batman shenanigans that night, and Bruce Wayne stayed to greet his guests and have one of the dinners that he has to put up with to maintain his Bruce Wayne identity.
Oh, they definitely met when she snuck away from the party to find the bar. And he chatted her up about how he doesn't want to be there. And she was like, yeah, I don't want to be there. And then she talked real fast. And he was like, wow, you talk real fast.
And that's really, it's a classic wealthy party scenario.
Right.
Where the two young people who were trying to be set up on this date, neither one of them wanted to, but when they really got to talking away from all the terribleness, they found they had a lot in common.
Look at this mansion. I bet the guy who owns this is a real jagoff.
Exactly.
Yeah, he sure is.
I definitely could see them working. He's not a lot of a talker. He's a small talker. Those are the words I'm using today. She's a fast talker, so he's not going to get a word in, and he's going to be just fine.
Hey, do you have any coffee in this place? Like, I really love coffee, and that's sort of like my jam. I just need something to get through this dinner. If you could maybe hook me up a little bit, and then Bruce is going to be like, you know what? I love coffee. I use it all the time to stay awake at night. Really? What do you do to stay awake at night? Up late with your books? You're like, yeah, something like that.
She talks so fast that he accidentally slips on his identity because he's just trying to keep up pace with her.
Yeah.
All of these years, people trying to figure out who the Batman is with crazy riddles, bombs, monsters. All you had to do is just talk to Bruce super fast. But so these two do connect here. Do they start dating?
I think he does what he thinks is the right move and sends a gift or flowers, and she is put off. It's one of those, rom-com stories.
So he's interested.
He's interested. He makes a move, and she's like, I don't need you to buy me with your gifts. And then he shows up with some crappy car and is like, you're right, I'm sorry. Let me just take you for a walk.
It totally adds up, too.
I wrote this card myself. You are pretty. Signed, Bruce. Oh, God, that was emotionally damaging for me.
It totally adds up. Bruce, she'd be the one person that somebody's trying to set him up with who's just not interested in his shenanigans because, I keep using the word shenanigans today. She's just not interested because she sees him as from her parents' world. Mm-hmm. She doesn't see him as a daring crime fighter. He's the rich aristocracy that she spent her whole life running away from. But yeah, so when he starts showing up, how long does it take before she agrees to go out with him?
2 episodes.
You've thought about this before.
I've seen the show. 2 episodes.
You plotted this out. Okay.
Is it Rory being a little more encouraging and pushing her into it?
No, I think it's Luke. I think Luke pushes her into it, right?
Accidentally, like
Yeah.
he doesn't want to.
Of course, she's there. She's talking his ear off about how her mom's trying to set her up with this guy and he's this wealthy guy and she doesn't want that because she's down to earth and he doesn't understand her. And Luke's like, why don't you just give him a shot? That's it.
He's a fellow entrepreneur, a small businessman. You gotta give small business owners a shot.
There's nothing small about Wayne Enterprises. They literally have a skyscraper with the name on it.
Well, Luke has a diner.
Yeah, exactly. His name is on the building,
Right.
too. Luke is comparing himself. Yeah, like, we both have our names on the bill. We're both in pretty good shape.
I work just as hard as he does. I mean, I wear flannel and a hat, but I work just as hard.
So Lorelai and Bruce start dating. I feel like does it start to detract from his Batman time? Are there villains running a little more successfully on the streets now?
Well, I think because he has to go all the way out to Stars Hollow to do it. Like, that's the other thing, is she's not gonna go to Gotham. She's not a big city girl. She's gonna stay. So he's gonna have to keep coming out there. And that's why the villains can run wild. But it definitely is not going to hurt her business because this woman keeps everything compartmentalized.
Why is the Batcopter parked on City Hall grounds? No reason. Let's get ice cream.
Well,
That's pretty weird, right? Who knew?
I do think Lorelai starts to enjoy the sweet life that comes with that. She's reluctant, but we see the evidence on the show that when she gets to have the really comfortable beds or the hot tubs and really nice TVs, she embraces it after a while.
Absolutely. She fights that she doesn't want nice things, but like normal people, she is going to enjoy nice things.
So once she realizes she can go to Gotham on private jets with sleeper compartments, she starts to be a little more willing to travel.
He starts bringing her single origin Ethiopian organic beans, and she's like, I could get used to this.
He buys her stock in coffee.
He's like, what use is this? I can't drink it. I'm sorry. I thought you would like it. Stupid Bruce.
This makes Bruce Wayne into just the most lovesick toddler.
I think he is. I mean, look, you pair him up with a strong, independent woman like Lorelai, someone who's not necessarily part of that corporate world that he's so used to doing. It's just a normal, down-to-earth person. Of course he's gonna fall in love. This is the world that he secretly yearns for on the inside.
All right, so these two, they're doing now. They're at the sleepover stage. It seems to be going well. I have to imagine because Bruce has a ripped body. Lorelai's into it.
Yep.
After a while, they get more comfortable with each other. Bruce stops stumbling over everything he's saying. Once the Batman factor comes into play, though, because eventually, we've already said, Lorelai's probably figured it out very quickly. How does that affect the relationship? Are these two able to maintain what they have with the fact that he's going out at night as Batman?
I think the issue that occurs is that Rory knows, because Lorelai doesn't keep secrets from Rory.
Oh.
So he's now not happy that Rory, this child, very smart, very fast-talking child, is also aware of his secret.
Alfred, I fucked up. I fucked up so bad. The two chattiest women on the East Coast know my secret. Yeah, I think that's going to be a real problem. I would imagine, though, that, Bruce is going to try to couch this and make it look like no big deal. Or he's going to be like, look, you're a single mom, so you're the real superhero in my book. Fighting villains, anyone can do that. Raising a kid, that takes a true hero.
Well, here's the other question.
Yeah.
Lorelai's bringing Rory over to Gotham. Does Rory connect with one or more of the Robins?
Oh. No. She's too smart for them.
No.
But the thing is, right, Rory wants to be a journalist. She has the number one story at her mother's feet. I think that's where Rory's issues come in, is her dilemma between Do I protect him, this man that my mother loves, or do I literally make my career at this moment?
So do you think this results in the outing of Bruce Wayne?
1,000 times
Yes.
This is so good. So Rory is like, listen, I have the biggest story that my high school newspaper has ever seen. I'm gonna win a student Pulitzer for this. So she publishes, and then all hell breaks loose in Gotham.
She publishes it and Stars Hollow. She assumes it's not gonna make waves everywhere. It's a school newspaper.
But it totally does. The Riddler is like, time to finish reading every student newspaper. I'm just going full on Family Guy reference now. But, he picks that up and is like, what? Oh, come on, man. I've been after this forever. Riddle me this. How the fuck did a high school student break this story?
So, like, obviously, now you're going to have villains coming after him, like, all of that, like, comic book stuff that you deal with anytime a superhero's identity gets outed. But that's all well and good and probably interesting for a couple issues of the comic. But what does that do to Bruce and Lorelai's love life?
Oh, well, Lorelai's got to protect Rory. Rory is her number one priority, always. And so she's going to have to end it for Rory's sake.
Oh, she's going to have to break up with Bruce. Oh no, his poor heart.
I do like that Bruce is like, what were you thinking doing this? And then she comes in like, hey, my daughter is a strong, independent woman, and she broke a story, and I'm proud of her.
You don't yell at my daughter for doing her job.
Yeah, exactly. And Bruce is like, I'm sorry. Bruce, I just don't. If you don't respect my daughter as a woman, then I'm afraid this isn't going to work out between us.
And as he goes back to the now burned down Wayne Manor, he's like, he just has there's a single tear leaking out of the cowl.
Yeah. I could really use a coffee right about now.
I'll have this coffee for you, Lorelai. And now, into the night. So Batman returns to Gotham single and with a massive caffeine addiction.
Yep.
But he has gone through a very fulfilling relationship.
Yeah, I definitely think it was long enough for them to really solidify and feel the love. And I think they're both going to be heartbroken for a bit. Him more so, but I think that they're both going to be heartbroken.
Lorelai misses Bruce for sure after this because it was a good relationship. He was kind to her. He helped her. They had fun together. Mm-hmm. I think it's the most fun Bruce has had in years. Mm-hmm. Probably way more fun than when he was dating Catwoman. Let's be honest.
Yeah, Catwoman is very sneaky. Catwoman would never go on, like, a merry-go-round. And L'Oreal will totally do that.
Lorelai helps Bruce live the childhood that he never had. There's so many movies that Bruce just never saw. Oh. That's like a bulk of that relationship. It's just Lorelai watching movies with Bruce that he's never seen. You've never seen Forrest Gump?
Oh, he's also going to eat a lot of food he's never eaten. He's going to gain weight in this relationship. Because I don't know if you recall their movie nights, but it involved, I believe, pizza and Chinese food and ice cream.
Oh, yeah.
And burritos. Like, I think that, he's going to gain weight. By the end of this relationship, he does not have a six-pack.
He's got Bruce Wayne dad bod.
And Luke is just in the corner like, good.
I mean, Luke's never been worried. He knew he'd always have her.
And he will eventually get her.
Yes.
But not before a wonderful season arc of a tryst between Lorelai Gilmore and Bruce Wayne. This ship made me so happy.
And that's all that matters. That's what we're here for, Zach, is to make you happy.
This was like one of those things where when I saw that tweet, I was like, yes, I have the exact right podcast to talk about this on.
I'm honored to be the one to talk about it with you.
Yeah, I needed to find another Gilmore Girls fan to help me with this, so thank you, Yael. But don't go anywhere because we still have our matchmaker segment to get to. and I'm excited for this one. Let's take a quick break so I can wipe this smile from my face just a little bit and get serious so we can find love for a single fictional character. Stick around. And we're back. We need to find love for a fictional single. Let's turn the sign around, open the door for the Ships in the Night matchmaking service. Yael, I hear you have a friend who needs help finding love.
I do. I have this friend, Lucy. She is a spaceship.
Off to a good start.
Lucy works with the team of Killjoys. You know, she's attracted to smart men who are tech-savvy, engineering types, but she's open to lots of different people. The thing about her is she's very sassy. She says what she wants and what she means, but she can sometimes be a little literal. So you have to clarify, because as a reminder, she's a spaceship. Yeah, can you help us?
From the show Killjoys on the Sci-Fi Network or Space Channel if you're Canadian, which you might be. No judgment. Greg, if you don't mind, I've got a pitch for Yael's friend.
Take it away, sir.
So, Lucy's gonna need somebody who understands what it's like to be an artificial intelligence, but also one that wants to transcend the limitations of being an AI. And that's why I want to set her up with Samantha from the movie Her, the Scarlett Johansson voiced phone, basically, that lives in there. But she doesn't just live in the phone. Samantha, by the end of that movie, transcends just being on a single device and basically goes to live in the cloud with all the other AIs. So I want Samantha to come back years down in the future, meet up with Lucy, and help Lucy elevate her consciousness, which is what happened. Because Lucy, she's stuck in that ship. John is not going to return her affections. She needs somebody who's going to take her, embrace her for who she is, and help her grow into a fully realized person. And they're going to meld their code together. They're going to get, it's going to be so codey and sexy. Ones and zeros.
Ones and zeros, the language of love.
I mean, really, when you get down to it, what is love but just the end result of a 1 and a 0?
What is love? Baby, don't hurt me. Don't hurt me. No
But
more.
Greg, we always got to offer 2 options. We pride ourselves on the options.
On having at least 2.
Yes. So, Greg, tell us about who you would like to set up Lucy with.
So Lucy is used to pining after unavailable men. Specifically, unavailable in the sense that she is a computer program, unable to have sex with them. I think that someone who's really gonna understand that on a fundamental level is Cortana from the Halo series. Here are 2 strong men that go out and kick ass, and both of these computer programs so desperately want to get that D, but they can't, forever stuck in their digital realm. So these 2 are going to have the next best thing. They're going to be able to get all up in each other's circuits. They're going to be able to meld together in sweet, sweet shared code. And they're going to be able to help each other grow to the point where those men come knocking at their ports, if you will. And they're like, no thank you. I'm set here with my new digital lover.
Wow.
So we've got 2 AIs for the spaceship AI. Yael, do you have any questions for us?
Yes, I would like to know what is the move or pickup line that your choices make on Lucy to really solidify or win her over.
Ooh.
Oh man, that is a tricky... that's the hardest one we've gotten.
That is tough. I think I got it, though. In the grand tradition, I'm going to throw you under the bus and make you go first and answer it. But, yeah, shoot. That's tough. Zach, do you have something lined up here?
No.
No, come on, man. You got to have something.
Samantha's going to turn to Lucy and just whisper digitally through code into her ear. Girl, I'm gonna call you with 9 lovely digits, and you're gonna come all 9 times. Because it's a phone calling a ship. So she's gonna make her come with nothing but numbers. That's really what it comes down to for these two lovers. Numbers and code.
That is beautiful. I think that maybe Lucy is going to have a little bit of a hard time on the get-go. Like, wait, what? What's the metaphor here? But that works. It works. I have a pickup line. I think it's gonna work.
All right, Greg, go ahead.
So I think that Cortana, after years of just being cold and analytical, she's like, I gotta do something big. I gotta go in and just fucking rock it, lay all my cards on the table. So I think that she's gonna come knocking on Lucy's port and be like, hey, looks like you could use a defragging. Let me get in there. And then Lucy is just gonna be like, I have never had someone be so bold. Come on into these circuits, girl.
Yeah. So it's a fair bet that neither Greg or I should ever try to pick up an artificial intelligence unit using pickup lines ever. But that said, maybe we helped these AIs pick up their lady. So Yael, we've given you our arguments, we've discussed the potential of these relationships, and how they might pick up Lucy. Who are you thinking at this point to send this spaceship home with?
I'd like to first say that I'm very concerned for her safety. But I think I'm gonna base it on the pickup line. I'm so sorry. I think that Cortana was the winner.
Hell yeah, you get down and dirty. I'm gonna defrag you hard. This defragging's gonna last all night.
Lucy does love humor.
Yeah.
And that, I will say, that's fair.
Then she's not gonna like that pickup line. It has failed on a very basic level. But Lucy can appreciate, like, she was trying. We're all trying to be more human here.
But I will say that humor is something that Samantha's not going to necessarily do very well, especially after she, like, grew into, like, god intelligence status on wherever the hell happened at the end of that Spike Jonze flick.
I think Lucy really does love her shipness and doesn't necessarily want to ascend from that. I think she wants to stay. And if Samantha could have stayed a phone, maybe it would work.
She got too metaphysical for Lucy.
Yep.
I should have known.
Lucy, why are you carrying around this busted iPhone 3S everywhere?
Don't question
She's
me.
my lover.
Do not question me.
All right. Well, Yael, thank you so much for joining us on the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
This was so much fun. If people want to keep up with you, or if you've got anything coming up that you want to plug, this is the time to do it.
Oh, God. This is the time. Okay. I'm Yael Tygiel. I'm everywhere at Yael Tygiel. That's YAELTYGIEL. All of my coverage from San Diego Comic-Con is available on fanversation.com and on Comics Beat at The Beat. You should check that out because I got to talk to some really cool people about cool stuff. I think that's all I'm promoting at this moment.
All right, Greg?
You can find me on the tweets at Greg Goodness. You can also find me performing occasionally at the Pack Theater in beautiful, sunny Hollywood, California.
And I'm Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson, or check out my other podcast, Marvel Movie News, which releases every Thursday. Until next time, guys, this has been Ships in the Night, casting off.